The universe is magnificent and vast, hundreds of billions of galaxies, trillions of stars, and even more planets. If even the tiniest fraction is habitable, then the universe should be teeming with life. And yet we see nothing, only vast emptiness. Where is everyone else? The answer to this riddle could be as exciting as it is creepy. We are early, born before almost all other life, but very soon, this may change. Not only might aliens appear, they could quickly surround us. An irreversible competition for the universe might be about to begin. While this video is based on scientific papers, we present exciting ideas based on little data and extrapolation, so take them with a grain of salt. Okay. We must examine 3 essential questions to understand the galactic competition. How fast can bacteria build spaceships? To become a starfaring civilization, life as we know it needs to master several challenging steps. It starts with dead stuff turning into the building blocks of life. Then it needs to organize into self-contained cells. Those cells have to learn to work together to form multicellular organisms. This continues until complex creatures with big brains learn to use tools and language. Civilization has to be formed from cultures that value progress and technological development. And then they need to venture out beyond their home planet. We must determine how hard these steps are and how many are necessary. On Earth, life appeared as soon as the oceans formed. But then it took 2 billion years to make the step from single cells to multicellular organisms, and 2 billion more for us to appear. Culture, civilization, and space travel developed super quickly, though. Do things always take that long, or was this exceptionally fast? Also, passing one step does not mean the next one is guaranteed. Multicellularity evolved over 25 times independently on Earth, but only one species builds spaceships. We don't know how many steps life needs to pass and how long they take to give rise to technological civilization, but there are many, and life has likely been trying for billions of years on trillions of planets. We are a rare exception since we don't see other technological civilizations. We might be among the first or even the first technological civilization in the Milky Way. But this is just one piece of the puzzle. On top of that, we may have just hit the perfect time window. Why does humanity exist at this time in the universe? The universe is already 13.8 billion years old, but it is unlikely that many other technological civilizations had a chance to appear before us. Because in the earlier universe, life would have had a hard time emerging, let alone thriving, because it was such a hostile environment. Early stars constantly blew up, galaxies crashed into each other, and supermassive black holes vomited massive amounts of radiation. Enough to sterilize galaxies over and over again. Our sun was born right at the end of this cosmic death show. The universe has never been more welcoming to life than it is now. So humanity has arrived at a very convenient spot in time, the earliest reasonably possible for life to thrive. What about the future? The sun burns brighter than 90% of the stars in our galaxy and will keep getting more optimistic. In about 1 billion years, it will boil all of Earth's oceans and become a giant that swallows it whole. So in the galactic context, the sun is very short-lived. Most stars are red dwarfs that can sustain habitable planets for tens of trillions of years. Life on these planets has an incredibly long time to appear and pass the complicated steps. Knowing nothing about how rare or everyday life makes it way more likely for technological civilizations to appear on one of those long-lived planets sometime in the future than in the past. Because if civilizations appear randomly in the Milky Way within a time window of 1 trillion years, then very few, if any, would appear before today. Then a couple more arrive in this period of 1 billion years that we are in before all starfaring civilizations that could ever exist emerge altogether. This weird tsunami-like distribution results from the hard steps model and something else, a deadline for any spacefaring culture. Any civilization coming after will find it hard to have room to survive, so all potential life has to cram in before it. Humanity exists now because otherwise, we might have missed this deadline. What or who creates this deadline? Why aren't aliens already on Earth? Humans are curious, expansionist, and hungry for energy. We have spread over the world and made it our own. Our technology has been improving, first slowly, then breathtakingly fast. If these things do not change drastically, and our descendants want to prosper, they will expand into space. We could construct a Dyson swarm for endless energy and transform planets into new homes. We could cross interstellar distances, allowing us to reach planets around distant stars. If we have the motivation, we can become a galactic civilization. A civilization that does this sort of stuff can be called loud because its activity creates noise. Signs that can be detected from far away. Imagine someone in a forest cutting down trees, starting fires, and laying down roads. The more intense their work, the easier they are to notice. An expanding technological civilization would be hard to miss. Our telescopes would pick up all that energy, and we would identify artificial interference with stars and planets. Another consequence of this business is that it is very disruptive to the environment. Clearing a forest means the end of its wildlife. Human activity has left no chance for a squirrel civilization to appear. Not because we hated squirrels, it's simply that they might want to do that at some point never crossed our minds, and we needed wood. Similarly, if loud civilizations were running around the galaxy in the past, terraforming planets or harvesting the energy of stars, they may have prevented our existence. Had aliens started colonizing Earth while we were still sludge in the oceans, that sludge would never have turned into humans. This is how loud aliens create a deadline for new civilizations to appear. The galaxy may have trillions of years to create life, but there may only be a short window for it to spread and thrive. Even if a loud civilization respects planets with naturally occurring life and expands around them, as humans do with wildlife reserves, any culture on such a planet would never be able to grow. They are trapped forever on a tiny island. But here we are, so loud aliens were never here. What about aliens that don't expand? They would be quiet aliens. They're limited to the one-star system and don't have a noticeable impact on their cosmic surroundings. Humanity is like this right now. We couldn't detect ourselves from the other side of the Milky Way. If they stay quiet forever, maybe because of their culture or abilities, they are not a concern for us. We only have one sample to draw from humanity, and right now, we are on the path to becoming loud. If we are not unique and succeed anyway, then any other civilization with the motivation and resources would eventually expand beyond its planet of origin. Okay, what is the consequence of all these assumptions and ideas? Grave consequences, race to the stars. If we are early, others will eventually catch up with us. Civilizations will emerge all over the place. And these new aliens will look at space, see no signs of life, and come to the same conclusion. They exist because loud civilizations have not yet taken over everything, but it only takes one loud culture to crowd them out of the entire galaxy. They, like us, will face an important decision. Do they stay quiet, take it easy, and tend to their planet for as long as possible, or do they start expanding to take a chunk of the galaxy before someone else arrives? Meeting others does not necessarily mean war or conflict. But it means new borders will arise, with limits that may persist forever. In the worst case, a civilization could be entirely enveloped by the empires of others, eternally doomed to be a galactic backwater without control over their fate. So if we want a seat at the galactic adults table, we best get to work. If we are early, we have an incredible opportunity to mold thousands or even millions of planets according to our vision and dreams. And one day, when we meet others, we can greet them and meet them as equals. Wouldn't that be nice? Of unique space and science-inspired products for you. Thank you so much for your support, and never stop dreaming of space adventures.